Hey, Tom here, FlipAnything USA. So on my blog, I share how I made my fortune in real estate, starting at 19 years old, buying and selling real estate. It's been a wonderful way to make money, and now I review fake gurus and snake oil salesmen just because they kind of ruin the business for the people that are legitimate. Like myself, I've got a mentorship, I've got a book. If you haven't seen my book, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Kindle. It's available on Audible as well. And then also I have a mentorship, which we'll talk about that some more later here. But today we're going to talk about, we're going to do a review on two videos in particular. One is CoffeeZilla. He did a video called Top 10 Fake Guru Red Flags to Watch For. And then another one that caught my eye was right here. This one, Jordan Belfort, How to Spot a Fake Guru. And he's been kind of a slippery salesman in the past, this guy. But yeah, and certainly, he probably has some credibility in, spotting these kind of guys himself. But he's seen a bunch, and I know he's had Grant Cardone on his show, and that was a disaster from what I'd seen. But anyways, so look, we're going to get into it, and we'll be right back. All right, so look, before we get going in here, I want to ask you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Helps the channel. So those of you that know, I extended the mentorship, and I'm going to sound like a fake guru now. That's one of the things. It's one of the reasons I'm doing this, by the way, is because here's the difference, and we're going to get into it too, because I tell people all the time that this mindset stuff is a bunch of bullshit. People pushing the mindset, and it's not a bad term, but they've kind of ruined it. They've kind of ruined it. Chris Cronus ruined it as far as I'm concerned, but again, it's really about getting the skills and applying those skills. And I just thought it would be interesting. We'll watch these guys. Do you guys want to start with Jordan Belfort? Hey, I appreciate everybody watching here. Who do we got from the class here? Let's see. Pop this out. Anyways, we're just gonna jump right in, and we'll just listen to some of this. How long a video is this one? What do we got here? Okay, this is 4 minutes. Well, he speaks fast enough. Jordan Belfort kind of speaks a little bit quick, anyways. But we'll go ahead and we'll go to that one. But let's start with CoffeeZilla. But both of these I think are going to be pretty good. I hadn't watched either video, but I just from what little I'd seen, I think it'll be good. So let's get in. Let's start watching.
One day, fake gurus will just be allowed to start up and no one will be there to call them out. And so I want to leave a guide to you for the people that I don't cover. How do you know whether someone's a fake guru or not? Well, I have 10 red flags. Just like there's maybe red flags on a date, they're rude to the waiter, red flag. It doesn't mean they're off the table, but if you have enough red flags, everyone knows you have enough red flags, you run for the hills. So let me give you my top 10 list. Red flag number 1, mastermind. If they say mastermind at all, come join my mastermind. Red flag 2.
I would agree.
Cars. They have cars in their videos all the time, and they're always showing you their wonderful cars and how they're just living the life.
Here are my
red flag. I mean, you look at people like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, people like that. Do they show off their wealth? No, they don't need to show it off. They got it. They got it like that. Oftentimes, the people who show it off.
See, loud rich niggas got low money, and loud broke niggas got no money. The irony behind it is so funny.
What's next?
Yeah, so those of you that are just listening, not watching, he's parading the faces of many of the fake gurus that some of you would know right off the bat. But I like what he's doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's so look, one of the things is you got to show credibility. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons when I go in and I set up my stuff or I try to sell my book or whatever, I show, I'll show a building, but I'll say, look, see this building? It's not as pretty as a car, but I could buy 20 Ferraris or 10 Ferraris with whatever I'm standing in front of, and that I think it's important to demonstrate your credibility. And of course, sitting in front of a new BMW, it doesn't mean shit. It just doesn't. It's just silly, and it's just a way of selling lifestyle. Yeah. And I'm going to add to this. He's probably going to say it anyways, but selling a lifestyle is a big red flag. Selling a mindset is a big red flag. And people that avoid quantifying, using numbers, saying, I've done 1,000 deals or I've done 100 deals, that is a red flag, folks. That's a red flag. Because what the hell's a deal mean? Yeah. What, you lost your ass? I mean, it doesn't mean anything. Talking in terms of deals is a joke. It means nothing. You got to talk in terms of money, profits made, and that's what I do on my stuff. And Ben Mala also. I like Ben Mala. Ben Mala is definitely the real deal. So, anyways, let's keep watching and see what else is going on.
Anybody who disparages real jobs.
And I don't know about you guys, but I know as my job as an accountant, it probably would have taken me 100 years to save that much.
4 reasons why having a 9-to-5 job is actually high risk.
And they start doing the thing we talked about, go to school and get a job, right? Yeah. So with that, this was his lesson number 1, and the rich don't work for money.
Red flag. Oh, this one's huge. Absolutely a massive red flag. Let me invite you to my live webinar, because what basically all it tells you is that they're lying, because the live webinar thing is a gimmick. They're not actually live. They're pre-recorded. They're like set up to look live.
You say in the first bullet point to remind them why they should come to the live webinar.
Yes.
But, I mean, from what I understand, your webinars are now not live anymore, so they're recorded. So are you opening up front?
Good question. Make sure the live thing I can convert, I can sell. Now you automate it, right? Now you can scale. Make sense? Yeah?
Yes, it does. But once you get to the point and you have it automated webinar, are you upfront and say it's automated?
I don't. No, I don't.
You give them the impression that it's live.
Yeah.
Live recorded webinar.
Live recorded, I like that.
When anyone puts that much time and effort into deceiving you and making you think something that's not actually true, you have to be wondering what else they're lying to you about. So red flag on that. And a lot of gurus do it. Like Dan Locke does it. John Prestani does it. A lot of those gurus do the live webinar thing that's not really live. Red flag.
I've never done a live webinar, by the way. Yeah, and the other thing is free seminar. Yeah. Free seminar. There's a red flag, I'll tell you right now, because those of you who don't know that, if you ever go, just go there for the hell of it. You go into a live seminar or a free seminar, and if you don't figure it out, you're in trouble. But you are the money. You are the target. There's nothing free about it. They brought you in because they understand that you have enough money to invest in real estate. If they hold a real estate seminar, it's like, here, come to my real estate seminar. Well, the fact that you're going to a real estate seminar is an indication that you have enough money to buy a piece of property. And believe me, they smell that money, and that's what they want to part you from as quickly as possible. And so, yeah, Bill, we plan on doing that. It's coming. He's asking about the Ben Mall interview. Yeah, that's coming. We're actually, we're sharing it with all the members first. Not everybody made it into class, but we had 50 people that attended that already seen it. But that's going out, by the way. And by the way, we got a Zoom class tomorrow. A lot of people signed up this week for the mentorship. Today is the last day to get in to the mentorship. And he's going to say, creating a sense of urgency, great indication of a fake guru. Well, it ends tonight. So anyways, but those of you that signed up, the people have been signing up, and I extended it till to midnight tonight. So you got till tonight to get in, and then you can be in the mentorship. You can be in the Zoom tomorrow, which we're going to have tomorrow. Anyways, back to the video. Let's watch some more, get his take on this, and then we'll jump over to Belfort. So maybe we'll jump back and forth.
Paid course. Huge red flag. Why is someone who's a millionaire who has all this money need to sell courses? Well, red flag. Does it mean that all paid courses are scams? No. I feel like I have to reiterate this a million times. But just the more red flags, the worse off.
Yeah, and so that's unfortunate because he's right. It's easy to sell a stack of paper. Okay, I don't really sell, I could call it a course, I guess, but I sell a mentorship, which means I personally teach it. I am there to answer your questions. Everybody walks away with my cell phone number, and I'm there when I'm called upon. But what I do is I give you all the fundamentals and basics to invest in real estate in a way that you'll you're going to know what you're going to have the tools to do the right stuff. Certainly, when I've been doing it for 40 years, so you're going to run into things. You can't get everything out of a book. You just can't. But in the mentorship, either we can get you on the road, we can get you close, and then you're going to develop your own skills too. Yeah, everybody's different. But anyways, so and he qualified that. Of course, doesn't necessarily mean you're fake, but people that these guys want to appear to be everything to everybody. You notice that? Exactly. It's like, here, what you can do with $1,000, what you can do with $10,000, and then of course they don't really tell you what you can do with any of it.
It's a lot of vagueness.
They just say go to the links below, or they have I don't want to say this because I like FlipMan, but Chris, and I know I like FlipMan, and I think he's a legitimate guy. Genius, but a lot of times the phone number on the shirt, it's a way to close the deal after the fact. But I see Chris Crone doing it, and we've already did it. The vast video we did last week was just all the damn text this guy was inundated with after signing up with a Chris Crone, or just actually giving up his number. So anyhow, let's keep watching.
You are. This is a really good one. Younger than 35. I hesitated putting this in because on the one hand, I'm younger than 35, I'm not trying to be ageist against myself. But let's put it this way. To be a coach, you kind of have to have done it all. And most people under 35 just haven't had enough life experience. Your life barely starts until you're 20.
Yeah, when you see a kid that looks like he's 15 years old, even if he's 20 or 25, whatever, and you see a lot of that. You see some baby-faced kid that is an expert. That is bullshit. That is absolutely impossible. I mean, I'm just telling you, it's a joke. There's just and they avoid showing any credibility, right? I mean, it's like, what have they done? Yeah. That's what I say. When you talk ambiguously or vaguely about deals, and it's easy to do, and people say, oh, what a great deal, this lease option to buy, and then they don't show one example of them ever doing it. Or even worse, somebody like Chris Crone or Grant Cardone that supposedly has 3,200. Grant Cardone says he's got 3,200 investors, but I've never seen one investor do a testimonial as to that they were happy that they did anything with them. Yeah. And I've got a pile of emails where they diss both those guys because they are unhappy. So let's keep watching.
I got a follow-up question for you, Tom.
Sure.
What's the youngest person you would take a course from? How young is your jiu-jitsu professor? Is he older?
Oh, shit. Well, my jiu-jitsu guy, I don't even know how old he is. He's in his 40s. Okay. But I'll tell you what he's got. He's a black belt with like 6 stripes on that black belt, and there's nobody that he teaches a lot of big, tough guys, and you know what, he can just twist anybody into a knot. I don't care who they are. He knows the body. It's just he demonstrates experience, right? Yeah. And he's not selling you a black book. He's not sending you a pamphlet. He can actually twist your neck off if he wants to. And when somebody really knows what they're doing, and that's why, really, look, I'm a mentor now. I'm a teacher and instructor. But one of the reasons is after having a jiu-jitsu teacher, I kind of really appreciate a mentor more than ever, because I would never be as advanced as I am at jiu-jitsu if I didn't have somebody correcting my mistakes, answering my questions. And when somebody really understands the body, let me tell you something, they can just show you very quickly how to, put somebody down with very few movements and just very little activity. Yeah. Anyways, what else we got here?
So they're just talking about, so Carlos kind of started the conversation where he says, so you're saying that a 9-to-5 job is not worth it. Then how do you get the money to start investing? Because starting from just wholesaling is way harder than people think. He's referring to what the guy was kind of saying.
Yeah. So look, I tell everybody, get some skills. I tell my own kids, get some skills, get an income. You got to have you got to have a job. You got to have some source of income to get started, period. It's just important. And I turn people down in the mentorship if I don't think they have enough money to really start. What else is he saying there?
Yeah, they're just pretty much talking about how just discrediting a 9-to-5.
Well, it's really a funny joke when you see somebody 22, dissing a job. And I don't mind. Listen, I say be self-employed. If you can be self-employed, you should be self-employed, because then you have more control of your hours. One of my buddies, Mark, and I did a video with him actually. He's a passive investor, but he's like for many years he was a right-hand man to a guy that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And so he was in a good position and he got paid well. So that kind of job is cool. But yeah, exactly. It just takes so many years to develop and become good at something. I mean, it just does. And, you know, like you say, my jiu-jitsu guy's been doing it 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of time on the mat. You know, that's a lot of time.
Exactly.
Okay, so Nancy Tay, I know that name. Bought your book, Kindle, yesterday, started reading. That's great, Nancy. Yeah, just get into it. And then if you can afford it and it's worthwhile to you, if you're still excited, consider the mentorship. But definitely start with the book. So let's see, Alex D. Honestly, also not going to reveal the address, but I saw Tom around. I live in this area. Oh, great. I got a stalker now. Great. Yeah,
About to
yeah.
expose you, Tom.
Okay. Oh, so this is funny. Yeah. Okay. So what Alex is saying, even though I don't know him and he's creeping around my neighborhood watching me. I'm kidding, Alex. What he's saying is he knows my properties. He sees them. He knows them. He drives by them. He lives in the same town, apparently. Thanks, Alex, for not revealing too much. But I do appreciate that. I do try to, I just think everybody should know that the kind of deals and things that I've been doing for many, many years, and I've done them in different areas, they apply to everywhere. The same things that occur that create opportunities in my town happen all over the world.
Yeah.
And that's why we have people all over the world in the course now, or in the mentorship. So, all right, let's go. Let's jump over to Belfort. I mean, I like what he's saying, but it'd be kind of interesting. Maybe some of this stuff will parallel each other with what both are saying. So we're gonna jump over to the other video. This is called "How to Spot a Fake Guru," and this is only a 4-minute and 34-second video, and we'll still keep it at 1 1/4. Let's go ahead and watch this one.
I don't sell business opportunities.
Yeah.
I just sell training. Like,
Yeah.
like my stuff's like I never ever sold a biz op.
Yeah.
I always knew if I did, I'd add a 0 onto my income.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you turn into a biz op, people will pay 10 times more for it. They will,
Yeah.
they will. But
Yeah.
I never did it. All I said is like,
Yeah.
I don't care what business you're in. You need to learn this
Yeah.
to enhance your business, a skill set, right? But yet there's these biz ops out there. They make the people a lot of money. I don't think they often make the people who buy them a lot of money.
No.
You know, what are your thoughts on I guess I don't know about the ethics. It's a separate issue, but like and what should people do that are listening to this to either protect themselves? How do they know who's real, who's not?
That's a great question. I think it comes down to what I said earlier. I think in the early days when I was 20, 21 years old, I'm just like, how do I make a lot of money? Like, okay, Asian family, right? It's like, you gotta be a doctor, engineer, you gotta make 100 grand. And the 100 grand's the number, right? And then you realize 100 grand is really not enough. And then so, I think it's really my message to my 21-year-old self would be, look, slow down. Don't think you need to be making, a couple $100 grand or $1 million out the gate. I think if you can prove that you can make these types of funnels work, you've proven to yourself that you at least know how to make things work. Now take those types of tactics and strategies and apply it to something long term so you can make a bigger impact on the world. Let's say you want to train people. That's actually impacting people's lives instead of, pilfering their money and then posting pictures of you with a Lamborghini or whatever. Because that doesn't make people feel good. That causes resentment, and that doesn't.
It's not sustainable.
Exactly. The more impact you make on the world, you're gonna get whatever money you're like. You'll be fine. Like, just focus on impact.
I'm going to say something to what he just said.
That's just like an obvious tell.
That is, I've never been jealous. I see people have what I want. It doesn't trigger jealousy. I guess I might envy him some, but I mean, it's more like it's inspirational when you can see somebody that's made their money, and it kind of qualifies, especially if you're not very impressed with that person, to be quite honest. You go, shit, if this guy can do it, I can certainly do it. Yeah, and that's how you really ought to feel. And you ought to feel that way when you see Chris Crone and when you see Grant Cardone. There's nothing special about these guys. I don't see any particular talent in them other than they're good salesmen.
They speak well, yeah.
And they talk a good story, but I don't think either one of them have really... I don't think either one of them have any particular real estate experience, but they are good salesmen. And this guy's talking in terms of funnels, which I think funneling is not a particularly great word either. It just doesn't sound right. But anyways, but it's important, really, everybody, you got to just, you got to quantify when somebody says something and they say they know what they're doing. They should be able to answer all the questions. And, Chris Crone did something one time and he's talking about a mentorship, and a mentor should be this, and answer your question, this and that. And they say, and then he goes on to ramble on to say, Chris, does that mean we're going to have your phone number? And he's like, oh, no, dude, forget it. My phone would blow up. But you know what? If you're a good mentor, your phone doesn't blow up. If you're a good mentor, if you teach people, and that's what I learned firsthand, is once I taught people the fundamentals how to make money in real estate, They have my number. I mean, hundreds of people now have my phone number. And guess what? They don't text me unless they have a deal, and then they really do need help figuring out something. And that's a pleasure to deal. That's a pleasure for me to deal with. But I don't get a bunch of stupid questions at all. I really don't. It's really cool. So anyhow, let's keep listening to Jordan, this guy, whatever his name is.
For these people who do that, like if someone's watching, say, if you see them saying X, don't, like, probably you should either investigate it a lot more closely or just run the other way. Is there like that obvious telltale? I know one I see, but what's yours?
I'm curious to get your thoughts. I mean, the tell I see is everyone's copying each other with the same ads, and they're doing a house tour. They're showing like a car. It's like, look at me, I got this, and if you do what I do, you can get this too, and that makes everybody look bad. But I'm curious, what's yours?
It's very similar. I think, you know, what it is I see someone who is very young usually, so, you know, they couldn't possibly have the amount of life experience that you would need to really be teaching.
Agreed.
And also, when they start showing you an equation, if it was so great, why aren't you just doing that yourself and building a real business out of it?
Yep.
That to me is a telltale sign. Like, for example, like, you know, I teach people to sell, but I also sell myself, and also there's no doubt. I mean, like, obviously it's a different situation with me, right? Because I have, you know, decades of social proof and success stories. But the point is I see kids. They're like 22 and they're doing the Lamborghini, the house tour, and they all tell the same story. You know, my teachers told me I wouldn't amount to anything. My mother wanted me to be an engineer or to do that.
Yeah. Listen, has anybody ever had a teacher tell you you're never going to amount to anything?
Yeah. Well, in roundabout ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well,
somebody.
Yeah, I say that, but I have to laugh because I know they thought that about me. They didn't say it though.
Yeah.
But
somebody asked a question I think it's interesting.
What's that?
So they said, Tom, do you see your students you have mentored now quitting their day jobs to invest in Flip full time?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, 100%. I've got at least 2 guys, 3 really, that are in that position already. And yeah, that's what they're doing full time. Yep. They're not pursuing business. Some of these guys would have pursued a business probably, but instead this is their business. They're full-time flipping and investors, and they're doing well.
Well, and I think the funny thing is so many of these people talk about money, but what you kind of learn, the real value is in time. Like, and having the money to do whatever you want with your time is way cooler than having a bunch of money.
Yeah, it's kind of, they're linked. I mean, they're linked. I mean, look, I'm sitting here. I come in here. Darius works for me. Another guy works for me. You know, and listen, I don't make a lot of money doing this, okay, at all. But it's an option that I have, and you know, and I do get paid for the mentorship, and I make some money. But of course, you know, I give up a lot of time for that too. But that's the best thing about having money and, you know, just having wealth is that you have the ability to do whatever the hell you want to do, whether it pays or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you got to look at, you know, Buffett and Gates, you know, they put, I think, $50-60 billion in a charity to give it away. You know, that's a big part of their plan is to give their money away. Well, I mean, that's something you can do. That's an option you have. That's only an option that a mega billionaire has, and it's a nice one. But you know, anyways, like I say, my deal is I like teaching people how to make money, and it's fun to it's really cool to relive the excitement of first real estate deals through other people's eyes, and I've done it a lot now, and I've just it's really great. People just get that bug, and they're amped, and I know it. It feels like Christmas. Every time you make a deal, it feels like Christmas, and you know, you're waiting to open that gift, which is, you know, conclude the deal and reap the reward of the profits that you made for doing something right. Hey, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps the channel if you like what you hear, and you know, we'll certainly provide more. Anyways, so let's you want to jump back? Let's listen to Jordan. We've got another minute.
They told me I should just get this dead end job, but I didn't, and you know, and look at me now, and I have a right, and I think though, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have a gift, by the way, but I think that's the first sign that you need to look a lot more.
The sound is gone?
Yeah, somebody says sound has gone.
I don't see it being gone. Let's see. We'll take a look.
Ask him again.
closely
Yep.
at what they're saying and investigate more deeply what
Right.
their reputation is and so forth. Because I think a lot of these are really about separating people from their money.
Right.
It's that, and that's what I really liked about what you and Neil do. It's so exactly the opposite. Sometimes it's almost too much. Like, it's like you guys are so like, no, seriously, it's very serious, high level
Appreciate that.
stuff. So, it's just really great stuff, and it's for me. That's why I called Neil recently when I had questions. I'll call Neil about marketing and stuff because it's like the real McCoy.
Okay, I guess that concludes Jordan's, and I didn't get that gentleman's name that he was talking to, but Eric Sue. Anyways, don't know what Eric Sue does, but you know what? So check this out. Look at this. Let's look at some of these comments underneath here. Ty Lopez is one of these, but you had him on the show anyways. If they had a free seminar which ends with a sales pitch for an expensive course, run.
It's funny.
Yeah, or I can tell you another one regarding this comment. It's when they ask you to go to the links below or call me or text me. That's just lead generation. They're just trying to get your number, and that's it. And then you're going to be hard sell. And you could already see some of the stuff that Chris Crone did. You know, this guy was just getting pelted with text, you know, one after another. You know, and they're asking for $50,000 equity out of your home. Wow. Jeez. Where'd that come from? You know what I mean? I never got an impression. I was actually surprised that on Chris Crone's deal, you know, he'll say how to make $1,000. And I know a lot of people are bitch about giving him $997. I guess that $997 is I don't know. A lot of people have bitched about losing $997. I had somebody actually tell me they got a refund from him for that. So, anyways, but I saw here, someone wrote this. I'd like to add, if they're selling you a lifestyle over information, they're probably a scammer. Agreed. And that's, you know, somebody's comment. Yeah, it's his, apparently it says Jordan has a lot of these guys, fake gurus on his show. Well, you know, he's kind of a talk show guy to me, you know. But I enjoy Jordan. I don't watch him all the time, but I do enjoy him when I do hear him. Let's see. Great to hear. Yeah. Anyways, I know. I don't think fake gurus talk about fake gurus.
Yeah.
So
they're calling each other out.
Yeah. Well, it's like thieves got to stick together,
like,
right?
What's up, Frank? I was.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Absolutely. All right. So, okay, let's watch the rest of this one with CoffeeZ here. Let's see.
So to say that you need 10 or 15 years to really know what you're doing in a field, it's not crazy to say. Like the two gurus I like are like Gary Vee and Grant Cardone. The biggest reason for both of them is that they have real businesses totally outside of their guruship. And they're both over 35, guys. So they have a little bit of years under their belt. So you're not a 20-year-old listening to another 20-year-old, okay? Next one.
So like on Grant Cardone, Grant Cardone's got this 10 times thing going in motivation. And that's where he started. And that's where he made a lot of his money is in, you know, pushing personal development. And I think he's good at it. I think he's a good salesman. Obviously, he's a good salesman. But he extrapolated that experience to be, I know everything about real estate, and this is the best investment. You know, I mean, he was very emphatic. This is the best. I got my money right and all this. And I don't think he knows anything about real estate, and I don't think he's qualified to teach or invest other people's money. Everything looked like a crap deal that I read, in my opinion. But so it's some of these they deviate from what they are good at and what they know and extrapolate that into something that they really aren't very good at and don't know. And that's why they can't go into detail on it. So, anyway.
So do you think they should stay in the space where they're an expert, or do you think just not teaching real estate is?
Well, I think, you know, it's just like anything else. I mean, look, I heard The Rock today has some Bitcoin.
He has a Bitcoin?
Yeah, no, The Rock.
Yeah,
What's his name again?
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson. He's got some, I heard this, I don't know this for a fact, but Dwayne Johnson's got some sort of way to make money with crypto. Send him $250 and you will make money. Now, I don't know. You might he might make $30 with your $250. You know, I don't know. But again, I just think, first thing, some people, oh, wow, I got to look. I heard people that was kind of like, oh, we need to check that out. Dwayne Johnson. So why?
Yeah.
Fuck, Dwayne Johnson knows shit about crypto as far as I know. I mean, it's such a new thing. I don't think anybody knows very much about it. Even anybody. You know, it just hadn't been around long enough.
Exactly.
But
body slam your bank.
So that's what I'm saying, though. So these guys that get a pass for skills simply because they're popular and they got a name, and like in this case, Dwayne Johnson's an actor, or Grant Cardone is a good whatever personal development salesman. That got shit to do with real estate. It'd be like me. I don't know. It'd be like me training you to run a marathon. Okay, I hate running. Okay, but I could probably, pull it off if I wanted to. But some people will just lie and say whatever they have to make a deal. So let's keep watching and see what the rest of this is.
One, financial history. They make big claims with very little evidence for those claims.
I'm Brock Johnson. I went from $0 to $6 million in my first 6 months selling on Amazon.
Show me the money. If anyone makes wild claims, you need some pretty wild evidence. Number 8. I'm just going to say 8. I don't know if it's 8. Runs YouTube or Facebook ads. Red flag. Next one. Free book. Go get my free booklet. Bro, this is what's called a lead funnel, okay?
Yeah, lead generation.
Let me explain real quick, because this is how fake gurus get you. They know how psychology works. Fake gurus are geniuses with psychology. So what they know is that when you are given something, you're more likely to go and buy the higher product. So they give you something for free with the idea that, number one, now they're going to have your email info, and they know you're already interested in their product. And number two, they're going to go relentlessly pursue your business and try to upsell you on these crazy products. Final fake guru red flag. They endlessly talk about mentors.
So do you need a mentor? Most successful entrepreneurs, did they have mentors? Bill Gates had Ed Roberts, Oprah Winfrey had Mary Duncan, Steve Jobs had Robert Friedland, Buffett had Benjamin Graham, Michael Jordan had Phil Jackson. And I can go on and on of people and their mentors. Change the word mentor for coach. Albert Einstein, one of the smartest people in history, had a mentor. He had a mentor. His father at 15 and a half. And mentors, was mentored, and in turn he mentored others. Your mentorship, mentors.
Now, there's nothing wrong with a mentor.
I've never
mentors are
liked
good. But oftentimes,
Ty
this
Lopez.
language is used to kind of pitch themselves as your future mentor. And when you this is sort of a red flag that's tied with another red flag, which is if they're talking all the time about mentors and they offer a paid course, red flag. They're trying to set themselves up as your guru. And
all right, so and I agree with everything he said. Just to be honest, and look, and I'm a mentor, and I have a book. It's not a free book, and people ask me, why don't you give the book away free? I said, why would I give it to you for free? I mean, what, I got to spend money to hand it to you? Are you kidding? It's already a fantastic deal for $10. But again, this is what sucks for everybody out there is it's like you don't know shit from Shinola, and I always go to that when it's the Steve Martin movie is he remember Steve Martin? You remember that? Yeah, he said I was born a poor black child, and then and his parents were black, his whole family was black, but his dad takes him out for a walk and says, son, before you go off on your own, I want to show you something. This is shit, and he's pointing down to a pile of horse, or some. And then he says, and this is Shinola. And he said, okay. And Steve Martin's going, shit, Shinola. He goes, okay, got it. And then he proceeds to take a step and steps right into the shit. And he's like, well, the dad was like, just trying to give him what he could give him before he left. But again, that's the problem is people need to be able to discern shit from Shinola. Or, and like you've got, again, all the things, like I say, free book, lead generation. Look, I want to sell more books. I want to sell more mentorships. No surprise there. But I have value. There's value associated with the product that I sell. Some people, there is no value there. And that's what you have to do. And that's why I think all the other indicators such as, not quantifying deals, not talking about real profits, going to flashy cars, and no specifics, nothing to pin any credibility on. Those you got to look out for. Just a smiling face, and people do. People are gullible. I mean, oh God. Jesus. Sorry, that was interesting.
Got to connect it to the Bluetooth.
That was my daughter. All right. Anyways, Darius, take over.
All right,
let's play this. And, yeah, I'll get this going again.
Tying a bunch of money to it. Like, I happen to know that Dan Locke has all his students call him Seafood Day. And they have to call him Seafood when they're in his course. First of all, cringe. Second of all, red flag. The guy is like playing some mind games. As soon as someone puts themselves in a mentorship over you, they now know what's best for you. I would say mentors are good, but find ones who are not interested in profiting off you, right? Find them, and those do exist out there.
Now, why can't I make a profit, CoffeeZilla? Why can't I make a profit? So I'll take exception to that. I mean, why shouldn't I make some money?
Yeah.
I believe me, I don't make near as much money as I should, or I could. But I mean, doing this, but it's starting to pay a little bit better than it used to, you know. I got a lot more people because I got more credibility. I got testimonials, and that's the other thing. Testimonials, okay? I'm going to say, a fake guru, if they don't have testimonials, or like every time I see Chris Crone, he's talking to people that work for him. You know, that's all he's it's like, yeah, anyways. But yeah, I disagree. You should, listen, if you got a good product, you should make some money. And I even pay, I pay for mentoring too. I do it in jiu-jitsu. I pay for private lessons too, that are just private, and to tweak things. So anyways, let's keep listening.
Two good questions real quick though. So one person is saying, he says, Tom, honest question. I was thinking of joining the mentorship, but being in the same area where you are, it seems like a conflict of interest for you. And the market is so overinflated in our area now.
Yeah, you know what, Alex, you're right. And to be honest, the first person I ever took in my own area was Chris. Yeah, Chris, and Chris is doing very well. And then one of the guys in my jiu-jitsu class figured out what I was doing, and I let him in, and really, this for you guys, just consider this: if I was selling some pile of crap, I certainly wouldn't sell it to a guy that's 6'5" in my jiu-jitsu class. Okay,
choke you out.
Yeah, exactly. It choked me out. It'll beat me to death. But what I'm saying is it's true. It is a little bit of a conflict. It's a conflict for me. In the beginning, I held this information tight. I didn't share it with anyone. And information is everything. I'm just telling you right now. I remember somebody showing me how to get the electronic data. There was no internet, but you could do a feed through the telephone, and I could. It was a form of the internet basically, but you would get in and you could download data through the telephone, and you'd hear the dial tone and you'd hear the modem kick in. And it starts streaming, all the data of property. Somebody showed me that, and as soon as they showed it to me, they saw how big my eyes got, and they realized, oh crap, I shouldn't have showed it to this. I shouldn't have showed it to Tom, and they were right, because immediately I ran with it, man. I downloaded data like crazy. I was data mining before anybody I know, and and there's a fortune to be made doing that stuff.
But should that stop him from getting to class, though? Or,
So what?
Should that stop him from getting to class, even though he's in the same area?
No, well, his point was, no, Alex, you should, somebody else got in the class recently, and I think they lied about where they're from, to be honest. Yeah, and she's kind of cute, too.
This way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So anyways, I have an online business, brick and mortar, and that's why I always go to the post office every day. I don't know what you're talking about the post office. I don't even go to the post office. I send other people to the post office. I never go to the post office.
That's what he said he saw you, Tom.
Yeah, I don't think he saw me. Yeah, really, I drive by the post office every day, but I don't go there. So, all right. Hey, so let's finish up with CoffeeZilla here, and then we'll talk about something else.
And it doesn't have to be someone from the internet. It could be someone from your life, your relative, someone who knows you well and just likes you as a person. But the second people start attaching money to this mentorship, that's a red flag. So how do we score the red flags? So here's what we're doing. If you have a 1 to 2, probably not a fake guru. Give them a pass. At least investigate more. If you have, let's say, 3 to 4, use caution. Use your best judgment. Be a little skeptical. 5, skepticism starts to kick in. This is where it's like, and maybe you don't even know about the other red flags yet, but don't even consider paying for anything. Very likely that person's a fake guru. 6 to 9, just run away. Absolutely run away. Don't even waste your time, okay? Anytime you waste on their sort of things, it's just, you're just falling into their sales funnel. It's all just a sales funnel. And if they have 10 red flags, send me an email, because I want to talk about them. I really hope that helps you navigate the world from now on. If I haven't talked about a fake guru, just run them through the system. I like that.
All right. Hey, those of you guys, you can write CoffeeZilla and tell them that I'm a fake, and we'll let him scrutinize me. No, I appreciate what he said, and I appreciate that he actually created a point system. Yeah. That was smart, really. Yeah. I like CoffeeZilla. I like Spencer Cornelia too. He's kind of in the same realm, but it'd be nice. I wish somebody would come attack me or at least exploit me for being real. You know what I mean? Because I would love to talk about fake gurus, fake real estate gurus with CoffeeZilla or Spencer Cornelia. That I would do a collaboration with those guys, either one of them, just to talk about fake gurus. And believe me, I've seen so much other crap, even before the internet. There's all kinds of scammy stuff.
So I have a question for you, Tom.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of what you were saying about, you always talk about like not telling people what you're doing. So my question is, how do people know that you're in the business of looking for deals if you don't tell people what you're doing? Like, how do you differentiate that?
Okay, I see Nimrod Dog 35 wrote, if I have a first deal, do you recommend don't talk about it with people? Listen, you guys tell me all the time, I'm very cryptic about my deals. I don't, even the stuff I show you, I don't show you stuff until I close the deal. Why would I take a chance of jeopardizing my deal? If, you know what I mean? If I'm talking, gee, I'm just stealing this property, and here it is. Go tell the owner. No thanks. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? So no, that's what I'm talking about. When I say keep your deals close, to your chest, and don't share, because listen, it's like loose lips sink ships, right? That's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You don't tell your enemy where you're going. They're going to sink your ship. And so you've got to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. When I say you got to make it your own passion. You don't need to tell everybody, hey, I'm going to go buy this. Isn't that great? Hey, I'm going to go buy this. Isn't that great? You know what I mean? You got to just go, keep it to yourself, say, I'm going to go buy that, and I'm going to put a bunch of money in my bank account. That's what you want to do. It's like a treasure map, and you're figuring out your own treasure map when you figure out where there's deals, and you're going to figure it out. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's a good point, because I've been talking to some of the students, and sometimes they confuse that not talking about deals with not opening your mouth and networking, right? Because
okay, and I'm going to talk about it. So people want to be in like a real estate club, okay? And listen, that's kind of what I've created with my mentorship. You go in the Zoom, and we're sharing like, hey, look at this. We'll jump all over Google Earth. We'll scrutinize, the stuff that they're in. But even then, I say, hey, listen, don't take me to your property if you think somebody in the class can steal it from you. Because believe me, even I've seen deals myself, the guys that I'm mentoring, I'm like, damn, if I wasn't the mentor here, I'd be, I mean, obviously I'm not going to steal from my students, but it's true. Listen, greed. I mean, boy, people stab each other in the back, shoot each other in the head, do terrible things over greed and money. So, you just got to be careful.
Yeah,
if somebody smells money, you got to be careful.
That makes sense. I mean, and that's
you get shot for $100 in certain neighborhoods, without a blink.
Yeah.
So like I say, what I tell you is you got to get the fundamentals to figure out how to make a great deal. And once you do that, once you get a deal, get it signed. And then even once you get it signed, keep your mouth shut until you close the deal. Now, if you're trying to flip it and do an assignment deal and you can't afford to close it yourself, that's different. You're not going to tell everybody, but you're going to go to everybody that has money that potentially can buy you out. That's just common sense, right? So that's what I mean. That
makes sense. And also, too, I think being careful of sharing your deals with people, because they can plant seeds of doubt in you, too.
Yeah, so there's no conflict here. There's no conflict here by saying that you're a player, that you're an investor. It's good for people to know. I used to have a card I made up called a card that said, I buy houses under $50,000. And this is like 30-something years ago, 35 years ago at least, maybe more. And, I'd hand that card to a realtor, and I was young, right? And they go, they laugh. They go, yeah, I do too. And I said, well, guess what? If you find one that you'd like to buy that you can't afford, you call me, and you can still make some money on the deal. So if it's very important to let people know you're a player and that you're a buyer. Listen, I've made millions of dollars now off of my tenants. The tenants that rent from me tell me, hey, Tom, the restaurant just came up for sale. I made $200,000 on that. Hey, Tom, the house next door is for sale. I'm making $400,000 on that one right now. The house that I just got an offer on today, I got an offer today for, how much was it? I got an offer today on one of my houses. I'll tell you real quickly. Great, I got tenants writing me shit. Yeah. Yeah,
He's the
some
real
of this
deal.
I got to
He's
move
the
over
real
to
deal.
somebody else here.
He's the real deal, you guys. Also, just a reminder, today's the last day that the mentorship is at $13.95 price. And I think we're going to close it for a while. And then it may open up in another class group. And Tom will probably finalize all that. But if you guys are thinking about it, definitely do it. And I think, Tom.
If you can afford it. Yeah, let's qualify that. If you can afford it. So, like I say, I've extended the mentorship. Again, don't want anybody in there that isn't serious and passionate about making money. You have to have already read the book. My book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. You definitely want the book. And a lot of people buy the book the same day they jump in and order class. And I don't like it. I don't recommend it. But basically, if you're excited enough by watching the videos and you see the deals that I've done that I share on YouTube, then of course it's fine.
Do you still have the payment plan option for him too, or is it just the flat rate?
I don't remember.
Okay, okay. Check the site out.
Yeah, I think.
Have an option.
Yeah, there might be. I think there might be a. It costs a little more. I think it's $13.95. It's $13.95 now, and there's people joining today that could have gotten it for $11.95 last week, and people that got it for $11.95 that could have gotten it for $9.95. So I would just tell you, do it. It's a bargain at 5 times the price. It really is, because of what you can do with it. And I mean, and it's undeniable. You can see the testimonials and the people that have actually made money all this year in the year of taking the class. So it's not bullshit. It's not snake oil. And I don't give you goofy fake testimonials, and I don't give you, and I talk very specifics in regard to my own deals and the stuff that I buy. And if I didn't, you should run. I mean, I say it all the time. Never trust anybody that stands to make $1 off you. I don't care if it's a real estate agent trying to sell you a property, or somebody trying to, get you to sell your property. And I get these calls all the time because of the amount of property that I own. But anyways, and so Keith wrote here. I was trying to sign up again. Okay, Keith, we'll take care of that. Keith, you should be able to. Anyways, any issues, I'll take care of it, Keith. Just write me. Keith's a student. He's been in the mentorship for a year, and he's extending it. There's, once you're in the mentorship, after a year goes by, you can stay for I think $2.99 for the year, Keith, or $29 a month, one or the other. But it's great because I'm telling you, every weekend you get to come into the mentorship, and you have access to me. It's probably one of the biggest things, the best things. But also you get to watch people that you saw come in that didn't know anything about real estate buying their first deal and their second deal and their third deal and their 20th deal. If you're one of these students, it's cool. It really is cool. I'm really proud of what we built.
So Alex D says, can I zone a lot commercial and residential when it's only residential if it's in an area where there are commercial buildings nearby? Okay, they're capitalized.
So check this out. A buddy of mine, Doug, who was on the show, by the way, called Old Guys Rule. Well, he's got a buddy that goes way back. And I was staying, me and my kids and, family, we were staying at the Hotel Del Coronado on Coronado Island in San Diego area. Well, I'm staying there, and I told my buddy, Doug, I'm at the Hotel Del. He goes, oh, Tom. He goes, you got to go talk to my buddy Jim. He lives 2 doors down, right there. I said, really? He said, yeah, he gave me his address, told me the Victorian house to go look for. And so I said, okay. And so I called up, and he said, yeah, come on down. So I walked down, and I meet Jim. And, and this is like an $8 million home. This is probably 15, 20 years ago. It's probably a hell of a lot more than that now. But anyhow, very successful guy. And I'm not sure why I went on to this subject exactly. What were we talking about that?
Yeah, you were talking about the commercial switching.
Oh, yeah. Now I know. Thanks. So check this out, because this is really cool. Let me put the iPad on here, because this goes to your deal. More and more, they're liking mixed use, okay? They'll do conditional overlays. They'll rezone things where they'll allow mixed use. And like you guys that go into these new outdoor malls, the indoor malls are done. Now everything's got like an outdoor mall. So you got stores beneath, and then you got, 3 or 4 floors of apartments and condos above. And so this mixed use of combination commercial, industrial, in fact, Robert Mitchell, who's a rock star at finding deals, but not necessarily closing them yet, in my class, he's found somebody really gotten my attention on some of the things he's found, but he's let him slip. And so he's learning too, by the way. But so I'll tell you, this is really cool because this is on Coronado Island. It overlooks the waterway where everything's coming out of the docks and going by, and you're looking at the San Diego skyline. Just absolutely gorgeous. And what he did was really, really cool. Let me get the iPad up here if I can show you. Okay, right over Darius's face. Anyways, so what he did was, if you can imagine, just say this. This is where the slips are. Okay, and then so this is where the canals where the ships are going. You know, the sailboats. It's not a very good sailboat, but whatever. The sailboats. They go back and forth down this causeway, or whatever you call this waterway. Well, and this is Coronado Island right here. He bought a property that there was some sort of underground thing here, so nothing could be built where this X is. Then here's a street, and here's a street, and he bought this basically, I don't think it was an acre. I don't think it was 200 by 200. It might have been roughly 200 by 200. Okay. But it was really cool because what he did is on the bottom, it was retail. So he had storefronts right on the bottom that you could come in through these streets and through the sidewalk at the bottom. But then on the top, on the second floor, it was like this. So if you can imagine, this is looking at the building. Stores right here, right? Storefront. And then up here, these were condos up here. So they each had their own little balcony. Right, that's a balcony. And so they're looking, and these are facing this way. Okay, so you get to see this beautiful skyline of up here. These are buildings. This is like the city, the beautiful buildings in San Diego. Well, what was really neat was that you had the balconies that directly faced pointing towards this way, but on the sides here also had additional apartment units. And what he did was he bumped them out. He bumped the balcony out here and then another one further out. So back here, these were stair-stepped so that you could have a view. And they actually went out over the sidewalk. And so same thing here. So you'd have a balcony, then a bigger balcony, and then a deeper balcony. And again, so everybody got a view. And what was really cool is it took him so long to develop this property that he was selling them for $1.5 million a piece before they even got started. And people reserved them. Then they went up to $1.8 million, $1.9 million. And then he had them all taken. And now they were starting to sell for $2.2 and $2.5 million a piece, right? And it was really a nice break for him because what happened was, the last one, these people were supposed to close, like any day. And it took him 5 years to get it through all the bureaucracy and bullshit in California, before he could even build this thing. But when he finally got it done, there was somebody who said, you know what, we're just going to let it go. We're not going to buy it. Well, they were buying it for $1.5 million, and people were paying 2.5 now for him. So he got it back, and he got to make an extra $1 million on that one particular unit. But again, this was cool because, like I said, the bottom was storefront, and then the top was residential. That allowed you to get a great view, and then plus you had the resources of the stores beneath you, which kind of believe me, that's kind of what Taiwan and China is. You go through the streets of Taiwan, you feel like you just drove around. You're driving in circles, and you're seeing the same thing over and over again. There's a little tuk-tuk shop, the motorcycle shop, and there's a little grocery shop, little meat shop, noodle house, pho thing, and it's just as you drive, you just like weren't we here? Here it's you keep seeing the same things over and over and over again. Yeah. If you ever go to Hawaii, it's like that too with the ABC stores. They're like every 100 feet. Wow. But anyways.
We got another question here.
Yeah.
So Barry Holiday says, I'm looking at a retail plaza, and I spoke with one bank, and they said that they typically require 40% down. Is that normal? Also, what cash-on-cash return do you normally look for?
I don't really look on things as cash on cash. I like to borrow money, because I make money on the borrowed money. Of course, I can make those calculations of, so I mean, listen, I like to make as much money as I possibly can, but I have a limit. I won't risk money to make 20% on a deal, or it's just I'm not going to tie up $1 million necessarily to make 200. If I'm going to, it just depends. It just depends. You got the risk reward analysis that you're doing in general, and a lot of times you'll have more opportunities than you can take advantage of. And when that happens, you kind of assess all these great opportunities, and you take the cream of the crop. And then the other ones, maybe you assign them to somebody else, I sometimes you just can't close everything you have in front of you. You just can't. And sometimes you can't even do anything with them. You don't even, because you got to watch the deals that you got going. If you try to you get spread too thin, you won't do anything well. I can tell you right now, I'm a master at doing too many things. And if you spread yourself too thin, you're going to lose. You're not going to be good at everything. You might be okay at everything, but you're not going to be great at everything. So it's better to concentrate on what you know. And I tell people with real estate too, it's good to know more than one property. Like, don't just cut up in just houses, just duplexes. Try to know a little bit about everything in your immediate neighborhood. And once in a while, an opportunity will come up on a house or a building or a commercial property, and it may not be, within your expertise at that moment, but you better make it fast. It's like, hey, this is going up for sale. Nobody knows it's going on the market. There's, somebody died and the heirs are selling it. Man, get your antenna up and dig in and figure it out if that's a deal, because those are the kinds of things that can be extremely profitable. You just got to very quickly analyze and figure out, is this a deal before me or not? Because there's nothing worse than somebody saying, what do you give me for it? And you don't know what to say. Or they'll say, or even worse, they'll say, give me $100,000 or give me $1 million and it's a deal. And you're like, because you don't know what it's worth. And a lot of times when you get in that situation, you might as well just say, okay, and then have a way to get out. Give yourself 30 days to, examine it and do your due diligence, and then, but tie it up. Sometimes you got to just tie things up, even maybe before you're 100% sure that it's a great deal. Then once you figure it out, it's a great deal, then close it. If it turns out to be not as good a deal as you hope, then let it go. There's always going to be a better deal. So Barry Holiday, I'm looking at a retail plaza.
That's what I just read.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yep. Sorry. Yeah. The main thing is you know how much money you can make with the money you have. So, sometimes if things are really dry and I can't seem to find a great deal, I buy houses to flip. My first love is buying retail centers and just keeping them rented, But I keep a certain amount in my portfolio of just stuff that I flip, and that's usually ends up being houses more than anything.
How quickly can you turn things that you flip?
Immediately.
You hold them for a year? Or?
Yeah, no, I can sell them right away. I mean, I'm buying them under market, so anything I buy, I can sell for more. I don't buy anything that I can't sell for more. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, there's things like, oh, this is close to my other properties. There's economies of scale. It's like even in a neighborhood, I get, say, 10 houses. The landscaper comes out, he mows all 10 yards. Mm-hmm. And I don't get, I don't have a trip charge for each one because he's already there. Yeah. He literally can push the mower down the street or ride the mower down the street in some cases. So you, by keeping your assets close together, they can also be managed by one manager. Yeah. Like I just bought a center that's about 15 minutes out of town. Everything else I could walk to almost everything that I own, by the way, within a certain amount of time. In hours at the most, furthest property from one property to another, probably I could walk there in an hour. But I started to get a little bit further out of town with this last retail center that I bought. Now I'm looking at more retail centers around that retail center, but it's still close enough that I can manage it. And also I factored in the fact that my property manager lives next to that retail center. So she goes there every day. Wow. She goes home. Wow. That's her area. Yeah. So, but if she didn't go home there, it might be a little trickier. I might have been having to use somebody outside of it. Okay, Taryn wrote. Actually, Taryn's is new in the club too. the Flip Anything Club. How would a non-U.S. citizen determine which area to start looking for deals in? So, I mean, Taryn, if you're talking about investing in the country that you currently reside, I mean, that would be my first choice, is looking at right where you're at. And, I mean, just look for where there's demand. I mean, if people, like right now, everybody needs houses. Houses are going crazy, and I'll tell you guys, fight your damn property taxes. When they reassess your properties and jack up your values, fight them. It's bullshit. Your property values right now are artificially going up. They take, you got sales because there's a shortage of homes out there, and there's, only a handful of properties available. People bid those up, and they're paying more for them than they even know they should, but they do it because it's just a shortage. But for the tax authorities to extrapolate that situation as to being all properties, like the other 99% of the properties that aren't on market are all of a sudden, because if you took 10% of the houses that we have that are available and you put them all on the market, there wouldn't be a shortage. Everything would go down in value. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm pissed off because I just lost a tax fight yesterday, and now it's going to be a third lawsuit. I'm taking the county to court. I have to. Yeah. It's going to push hundreds of thousands of dollars here pretty soon. Jeez. Yeah, because it's ridiculous. You got to fight. You got to fight. If you don't fight, you lay down. You're going to get stomped on, and so you always fight. But anyhow, Taryn, just assess where there's a need and where there's opportunity. If you can, I got interested in land because in a particular area, just because I heard there was a deal out there. I went out there, and sure enough, I did my quick study, and I go, okay, it's a great deal. And I bought one lot, and then before you know it, I bought 70 lots. And that's another thing. You can kind of monopolize an area if you buy all the available properties. And I mean, like, say there might be 20 vacant lots in a particular subdivision. If you buy up half of them, or 2/3 of those remaining 20 lots, you've got a monopoly, because that 1/3 that you couldn't buy, they're probably taken by people that are going to ultimately build their home on that. And so now you've got, you even though there's hundreds of properties in the area, because you've got all the available inventory, you own it. You've got you have the ability to raise the price on everything and make all that stuff worth twice what it's worth. In certain circumstances. I made a lot of money on land, so I love it.
Barry Holiday says, do you normally have to put 40% down on a retail strip center?
No. In fact, the banks are looser. I'm surprised right now, because it used to be the banks generally want me to, if you occupy the property, they're like, okay, no problem, put 20% down. If you own or occupy, if you take a space within the building that you're buying, they will finance it, and they'll give you better finance. And sometimes like you own 50% of the building, but you can get away with taking over 30%. You can get over with 20% because you just tell them you plan on taking over the rest of it later. And they're like, okay, fine. They want to make a loan. So, 20% to 25%, Barry. But even right now, investors, if you have a good lender and you have a good reputation, a good credit record, you can buy an existing property that you're not going to move into, and you put 20% down, and the bank will loan you the balance, the other 80%. They might even do it at interest only if you're preferred, like a VIP member, if you got that kind of credit with them, then they'll treat you even better.
Yeah. Jesse Lemons asks, he says, Shane thought that as an investor you would get more tax breaks.
Well, I mean, you get depreciation. There is some tax breaks there for sure. So you do get them,
But tax breaks is, and like you're saying, paying property tax on a value that's artificially inflated are two separate things.
Well, that's why everybody gets screwed. I mean, people are so apathetic. Nobody ever does anything, or nobody hardly ever fights for themselves, and so they get walked all over. And a lot of time, maybe it's a fear. And there's also, listen, right now, people's have their house, their house goes from $400,000 up to $550,000. That's in this pandemic. That's in a lot of the neighborhoods that I own property in. And it just makes me sick, because I still fight them all, but I'm selling my property. So I don't really have a dog in the fight anymore, because I'm selling off these properties. I'm just taking the cash and running. But those people that are in the area, they should go down there and say, you can't, you can't take this housing shortage where people are desperate to get a home that are moving into this area. Because I'm in an area where people are moving in, 200 people a day are moving into the area. And, and there's just not that many houses available. They can't keep up with it. So that's why a house goes up for sale. And a guy says, I don't like paying more than it's worth, but I don't want to move next year. And so they start weighing out the cost of a move and the hassle of transferring from one house to another in a year when maybe they just moved into the area from another state. And so they say, screw it. Here's an extra $100,000. In fact, there's a whole list of properties that I just saw at a publication where they were showing about, 30 properties, and that on average sold for $200,000 over list price all the way. And this is just yesterday I saw this. Anyhow.
Barry says the retail plaza I'm looking at is $750K. Bank wants 40% down. Income is $111K, and expenses are $59,400. What are your thoughts?
It sounds like a decent deal. Maybe you can get away with putting less down. If it's Barry, pursue that. That looks good. So let's just do the math on that real quick. You're paying $750,000. It's throwing off $111,000 gross rents, and you got $60,000. That's seems like a lot of expense, to be honest. But if you take 60 away from the, just say 60 away from the 111, you're making $50,000 a year. You're getting about 7.5% on the value of the property. So you're getting a 7.5 cap rate. That's not a bad deal right now. And especially since money's so cheap, even on the borrowed money, you're going to borrow that money at about 3.5%. So, if let's just do the math on this real quick. On your 60, let's just say you put 40% down. So on your 40%, you're going to make $28,000 a year on your 40%, mm-hmm. And on your 60% that you're borrowing from the bank, you're going to make another $42,000 less debt service. You're going to make about $22,000 on that. So you're going to make $22,000 on the borrowed money, and you're going to make let me say on that other
28.
Is it 28? Yeah, you can make 28 on the money, and that's all. And really, if you get away with 20% down or 25% down, those numbers will be even better for you. So yeah, that sounds pretty good, Barry. In fact, if you want, you can send that to me. Tom no, seriously, I'll help you with it. Tom at FlipAnythingUSA.com. Tom at FlipAnythingUSA.com. I'll have a look at it. Again, I don't know where it's at, and don't say where it's at because you don't want anybody to know where it's at right now. So until you get it tied up. Yeah, that's okay. You're going to make money on the borrowed money either way. Try to put 25% down, as long as it pencils. But that is, seems like I don't know why it's weighted so high on the expenses.
What's your average expenses for your retail units?
God. It's lower than that percentage-wise, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head.
That's interesting.
Yeah. The taxes are what's the killer. I don't like it. It's horrible. You got properties and, listen, you guys seen my video. Look at my video I made a couple of years ago. I wrote $425,000 in property tax checks. That was a couple of years ago. It's probably going to be $650 this year. Yeah, property taxes are horrible. Yeah, I know. It's a real expense. So what else? Hey, so look, if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, helps the channel. And, we talk real estate and real deals, and we'll talk about fake gurus. It doesn't matter, because we're not afraid. We're not fake. So, anyhow, get the book if you get the book. Hey, so what do you think? How long we've been on here? Is it time to go yet?
It's about 4:20.
Yeah, it's almost time for Darius to go. So look, if you just got here, please subscribe and take some time, watch some of the other older videos. There's all kinds of information I've been sharing with for many years now, and listen, there's no quicker way to get rich than investing in real estate. And you don't have to buy my course. You certainly should buy my book. The book is peanuts, $10. If you could be reading it, you can go read it for free. Okay, go to Amazon. You can read several chapters, I think, for free, or listen to them free if you listen to the Audible version. And and if that may be a part with $10 for that, and then that $10 you'll be excited and you'll start to go, man, there's some opportunity here, and then maybe you'll take the mentorship, or maybe you just go make some money. Doesn't matter. You can believe me. Plenty of people made money just with the book. So do that, and I urge you to, because listen. If you do nothing, if you're not happy with the money that you're making right now from your job, and listen, nobody wants to be able to calculate. Listen, you could take your job right now, take your paycheck, and just take it times 20 years. And now that's what you got, right? That's what you got. It's not enough. I guarantee you, it's not enough. I don't care how much you make. I don't care if you're a doctor. It's not enough. You got to have some outside investments working for you, and there's nothing better than real estate, because the banks, it's the only investment that the banks will loan you, 80% of the purchase price, and then you get the benefit of that asset going up in value, and you only had to put out 20% to get that asset. So that's like on the most basic deal. But the other thing is you can buy stuff under market. The power of buying used, there's nothing like it. When you buy used, anything you buy used has the potential of that item being completely paid for. And if something's completely paid for, what does that mean?
You can get it for.
I mean, somebody can sell it for
more.
Zero if they want. They can sell it for nothing. So that's the power of buying used, is that it has that potential of being completely paid for, and it has the potential of being sold for half of what it's worth. And there's lots of opportunities out there if you know what you're looking for and you know how to do it. And that's what I've been doing for a very long time. And then there's just the regular depreciation, holding assets, that cash flow. It's wonderful having a couple $100,000 a month in rents coming in, and that's achievable, not hard. You can get there, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. And that's why the people that get in the mentorship, they get excited about it too, because they can see it, and some of them are experiencing it now, and it's a beautiful thing. So any other questions, I'll try to answer right now, and then otherwise we'll get out of here. So you got $28,000 in taxes. So it sounds like you're in an area that's, if it's based on that 700, I mean, it sounds like God, that sounds like more than that. Well, actually, that's a good indication, Barry. If the taxes are $28,000, your property is probably being taxed at a rate of, a value of $1 million. So, so I think, you do have you have a decent property there for sure, and you may have some room to make it worth more.
That's an interesting observation you just made, Tom. So, is that a fair calculation when we're evaluating deals to maybe look at the tax rate of that county or whatever, and then seeing how they're doing it? Is that
yeah, I mean, I'm just going off the top of my head, just going, well, according to those taxes, and it could be off a little bit one way or another. Some places are more tax heavy than others, but it's an indicator. It doesn't mean anything. It's just an indication of value. It's an indication of value. It's not just like I tell you, go to Zillow, go to different things to look at. They're a source of information. They're not exclusively like,
the law.
Not the law.
Yeah.
So look, hey, we'll call it quits here. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to throw you guys into my mentorship spiel here, and you'll enjoy it too, because these are real people that are making money all over the world, and then we'll sign out after that. Thanks.
Okay, you're going to have to see this because you're not going to believe it. You see the cabin in the background? Literally looking at the place right now, we just did a handshake deal on his property.
Tom's class is approachable for literally everyone. I'm an immigrant, broken English. I'm a mechanic. Everyone can do it. Everyone.
I made a pretty good amount of money.
Once I realized that Tom was the real deal, I went ahead and I bought the course. I made over $1 million in real estate in 1 year, and I have no cash invested.
I'm on the verge of doing another deal. I'm going to spend 75, and I'm going maybe to 180.
We texted back and forth. We call each other. He gave me some advice. The support is right there. Not somebody else, but he's going to answer. He's going to give you the support.
I didn't know anything. So if I can do it in a town of 4,500 people, You can do it anywhere.
I don't like to lose. I don't want you to lose a deal. I take it personally if I'm helping you that it gets away from you. And it hadn't happened yet, by the way.
I had the bank invite me to a board meeting because they're like, how are you finding these deals? We're just very curious how you're putting these deals together, Ron.
4 years worth of salary, you know?
Wow.
Just in 1 year.
I got to get going because he just signed a contract. I got to go write him a check. Close the deal. Close the deal.
All right. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys in the Zoom tomorrow. Those of you that are in the mentorship, I'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central. See ya.